Welcome to Daily Office Devotions, where every Monday through Friday we bring to our lives that day's scripture readings as given in the Book of Common Prayer. I'm Reggie Kidd, and I'm grateful to be with you this Friday in the season after Pentecost. We are in Proper 28 of Year 1 of the Daily Office Lectionary, wrapping up 1 Maccabees and Revelation. Jewish people celebrated Hanukkah for the first time in 164 BC and continue to celebrate it to this day. Christians take this to be a celebration in advance of the things John recounts for us in the book of Revelation. At creation, God had intended the whole earth to be a temple for his dwelling among humans. Enter the serpent with his hiss. Enter the pollution of sin and the darkness of evil. A day is coming when this earth will be delivered from dissolution and decay, and God will dwell among his glorified sons and daughters as he originally intended. From the day he first showed up in his Father's house with whip in hand, John chapter 2, Jesus has been working to purify, indeed to redesign, reconstruct, and redecorate the place for the meeting place between God and us. To the cross, Jesus took all the pollution and ugliness and defilement of God's temple and his creation. Antiochus IV Epiphanes' temple desecration was but a small part. The truth is, all of us are complicit in the degradation of creation. Jesus took all of it into himself, buried it in his own tomb, and left it there when he rose from the dead. He rose and promised that the day will come when God's house will be put entirely into order. The establishment under Judas Maccabeus of Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights as an annual celebration of the rededication of Ezra Nehemiah's temple, is a happy reminder to us that it is important to set aside seasons of praise to celebrate the moments we become aware of God's redemptive interventions in our lives. When he raises us up from a sickbed, when he blesses us with a new child or job or relationship, when he grants us a new realization of his grace and forgiveness. More deeply, though, it is a happy reminder of his commitment in his own time to make all things new. He's promised, and he will come through. Meanwhile, in verses that the daily lectionary mystifyingly leaves out, John gives us the Bible's final imperatives, the Bible's final exhortations and invitations. The Spirit and the bride say, "Come." And let everyone who hears say, "Come." And let everyone who is thirsty come. Let anyone who wishes take the water of life as a gift. Revelation chapter 22, verse 17. Fittingly, as I once heard theologian Leonard Sweet observe, the Bible begins by telling us to eat, Genesis chapter 2, verse 16, and it ends by telling us to drink, Revelation chapter 22, verse 17b. The Bible is a book of life because it is God who gives life and health and well-being. Matthew, the presence of Christ in our midst in the now. Christ came to be an advance on God's dwelling on the earth with his people in the hereafter. He is, as Matthew has already told us, Emmanuel, which means God with us, Matthew chapter 1, verse 23. It is incumbent upon us, therefore, to conduct ourselves with the circumspection and care corresponding to that reality. First, we don't just let each other drift away. If a shepherd has 100 sheep and one of them has gone astray, Matthew chapter 18, verses 12 through 14. In my first job out of seminary, I was put in charge of that congregation's straying sheep. Lunch appointment after lunch appointment provided sobering lessons in the disappointment of congregants who felt their church promised more than it delivered. I learned that listening to concerns and apologizing when necessary resulted in a grace of reconciliation. Second, we are called to keep a vigilant eye to predation in the congregation. If another member of the church sins against you, go and point out the fault. Matthew chapter 18, verses 15 through 19. Grace can be mistaken for permissiveness. The Lord's sheep can be mistreated. Old ones, widows, and young ones can be taken advantage of. And in the name of Christ, the church works hard to protect the innocent. Third, may we never outgrow our wonder at the fact that the one whom we will one day see seated as the Alpha and the Omega, Revelation chapter 22, verse 12, is already among us whenever we gather. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there among them. Matthew chapter 18, verse 20. He is present among us in the little ones, among us in the prayers and praises, among us in the proclamation of the word, among us at the passing of the peace, and among us in the bread and the wine, and then among us as we go and make disciples. Matthew chapter 28, verses 19 through 20. Be blessed this day.